that more than 80% of the luxury leather products, like handbags, purses, and shoes of Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, Coach, Prada, you name it, most of them are made in
Field is TikTok. It is flooded with such factory videos. Chinese suppliers are reaching out to American customers.
They've been hiding this for years. Louis Vuitton just walked into a firestorm. And TikTok lit the match. Factory workers in China have gone rogue, flooding the app with raw footage from behind the luxury curtain. No glam, no filters, just cold, brutal reality. And here's the shocker. These same factories, they're allegedly selling the exact same bags straight to American shoppers for a fraction of the price. Now, Louis Vuitton isn't just trending, it's under attack. Customers are storming into boutiques, not to buy, but to confront. The betrayal? Massive. The silence from LV? Even louder. How can this be luxury? Fans ask, if it's all coming from the same place as the dupes. This isn't some PR hiccup. This is an identity crisis. The question shaking TikTok right now,
makes 80% of your designer bags.
Who is the Chinese supplier behind Under Armour? Shenzhou International. Nike shoes from China to your country?
Who are the suppliers behind Solomon, Timberland, New Balance, Adidas, Nike, la 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 la? First, Baocheng Factory.
It's not just calling them out. They're showing the world exactly where your $1,000 handbag or your $100 leggings are really being made. They're now offering you the same exact stuff, no middleman, no markup. In a bold move that seems more like economic warfare than manufacturing, Chinese workers are lifting the lid on $1 billion.
And now it's unraveling. One factory video at a time. It started with a leaked clip. A factory worker, a bag, and a truth bomb so big the internet couldn't unsee it. Louis Vuitton, the name we've all been taught to worship as the symbol of elite European luxury, just got exposed. Not in a tabloid. On TikTok, turns out that $3,000 bag you flexed at brunch, it might have been made in the same warehouse that sells knockoffs. For $50, the US thought it could pressure China with tariffs. But instead of backing down, China clapped back, hard. They dropped receipts, behind-the-scenes videos, tutorials, proof. And suddenly, the glow-up of Louis Vuitton dimmed into something darker. Because when people saw where these bags actually come from, jaws dropped. Over half of LV's products are reportedly manufactured in China, even though the brand has spent years pushing a handcrafted in Europe fantasy. But wait, it gets worse. Way worse. A whistleblower from inside the factory revealed that a Louis Vuitton bag costs about $15 to make. $15? So what exactly are we paying for? The label? The illusion? Fans felt duped, betrayed, mocked. This wasn't just about bags anymore. It was about being lied to, glamorized, and sold a dream that never existed. And while customers started questioning everything, Louis Vuitton tried to patch the wound. They released a statement saying the claims were false, that they maintained the highest standards. But the silence? Louder than their words. Because TikTok didn't stop. In fact, it exploded. Creators started teaching people how to check if their luxury bags were actually made in China. Tutorials went viral. Receipts started stacking up, and suddenly, everyone was asking the same burning question.
Brands brag about being made in Europe. The video claims that more than half of Louis Vuitton's bags are actually made in China.
We thought we'd seen the worst with Louis Vuitton, but what's surfacing now? Might just be the beginning of a full-blown fashion industry meltdown. I started digging for vendor lists. But what I uncovered sent chills down my spine. Because whispers are turning into screams. Insiders are saying this Louis Vuitton mess is just the tip of the iceberg. And China, they're not backing down, not even close. If more factory workers come forward, and all signs point to yes, this won't just damage LV's reputation. It could flip the entire luxury game on its head. Imagine designer secrets flooding TikTok. Imagine price tags being exposed. Imagine finding out your $2,000 bag cost less than your lunch. And here's the plot twist. Not everyone is angry. Some folks are like, put the factory on Mars, just give me that LV logo. Yeah, you heard that right. Turns out for some, it's not about craftsmanship, it's about clout. If the bag looks fire in selfies, who cares where it came from? But just when you think Louis Vuitton couldn't fumble harder, they dropped the ball again. And this time, it hit harder than ever. Because while brands like Hermès gave customers a heads up, a clear warning about price hikes starting May 1st, Louis Vuitton went full-on ghost mode. No emails, No press. Release. Not even a polite, hey, we're raising prices. They just did it. Quietly. 3 to 6% up across everything, bags, perfumes, wallets. People walked into stores expecting luxury and left with sticker shock. Imagine going in for your go-to LV perfume and finding it's $40 more overnight. No warning, no reason. This wasn't a glitch. It was a calculated move, pulled off in broad daylight. And here's the kicker. Louis Vuitton's been pulling stunts like this for years. Remember the pandemic? When the world was locked inside, barely spending? Yeah, they raised prices then too. Quietly, strategically, repeatedly. So now the question is, if they're this bold in public, what else are they hiding behind closed doors?
I shall receive. You want a tutorial? I got you. So let's just click my link in my bio, and it's going to take you to my landing page. Just scroll down a little bit, and here you will find the spreadsheet. This is if you want my personalized help, and this is if you want anything added to the spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and click my spreadsheet. So here we have all of the vendors that I've compiled for you.
Luxury? Please. This isn't about elegance anymore. This is a high-end hustle, playing out in broad daylight. Louis Vuitton just pulled a move so bold, so shameless, even their most die-hard fans are shook. The pandemic is long gone, but somehow, your favorite luxury bag? Still getting more expensive by the minute. And now, the silence is louder than words. See, they blamed the price hikes on supply chain issues and raw materials. Everyone gave them a pass. Times are tough, they said, but it's 2025 now. COVID's in the rear view. So what's their excuse this time? Because it's not giving struggle. It's giving straight up greed. And here's where it gets dark. They're not just raising prices. They're playing psychological warfare. They're testing your loyalty, seeing how far they can push the hype before you finally snap. But spoiler, alert. They're betting you won't, because when you walk into a Louis Vuitton store, you're not just buying a bag. You're buying status. You're buying silence. You're buying the right to say, yeah, I dropped a few thousand, and what? And Louis Vuitton knows that. They're using that clout like a weapon, quietly, strategically. They've been jacking up prices again and again, hoping you won't notice, hoping you'll just swipe your card like you always do, no questions asked. And guess what? Another price hike is already coming. This time, they're not even pretending to be subtle. They're going public. Full announcement. It's like they want to see who blinks first. But here's where it goes next level shady. Turns out some of these so-called European-made bags, they're not even fully made in Europe. But Louis Vuitton's betting that as long as that shiny LV logo is stitched on the front, you won't care. This isn't luxury anymore. This is a mind game. A game where the rules are stacked against the very people who made them famous. The fans, the loyal buyers, the influencers who gave them. Free promo for years. And the brand's response? Transparency? Louis Vuitton said, never heard of her? The arrogance is wild. But hold up, it gets even more explosive. Because this isn't just about prices anymore. There's a legal war going down behind the scenes. Whispers from China. Internal leaks. Trade secrets exposed. And Louis Vuitton? They're not just trying to cover it up. They're allegedly suing their own manufacturers for spilling the tea. Let that sink in. The people who helped build their empire? They're now being dragged into court for telling the truth. And LV isn't alone in this chaos. Hermès? Right there in the legal trenches. Swinging to protect their image. Desperate to keep their flawless facade intact. But here's the kicker. While all this is happening, Chanel's gone completely silent. No statements, no warnings, just quiet. And when luxury brands go quiet, that's when fans get real nervous. Because silence isn't elegance. Silence is panic disguised in pearls. Right now, Louis Vuitton is putting on a masterclass in how to alienate your most loyal customers. From hidden markups to lawsuits to manufacturing scandals, it's not just a bad look. It might be their worst PR disaster ever. Fans are waking up, influencers are side-eyeing, even resale markets are buzzing. Because when everyone starts pulling the curtain back, the whole illusion begins to crack. And here's the truth they don't want you to know. This isn't about fashion anymore. It's about power, control, and the price they think you'll pay to feel included. But if the loyalty breaks, if people stop believing in the brand, what happens then? Will Louis Vuitton survive the backlash?
decades, we have been conditioned to believe that China is just one giant sweatshop pumping out crap while we are the sophisticated, high-end innovators. And it turns out China has just been patiently waiting for us to be completely dependent upon their manufacturers. They have been mastering every technology, absorbing every industry, and then building an empire that doesn't need us half as much as we.
But what's happening behind the velvet curtain of Louis Vuitton and Hermes? It's way darker than anyone imagined. Sources are now claiming the CEOs of both fashion giants have launched a legal war, not just a lawsuit, but a full-blown attack, accusing their own longtime factories of pulling the ultimate betrayal. These weren't random pop-up sweatshops. These were trusted partners, factories they worked with for years, now allegedly flooding the market with high-end fakes. Let that sink in. According to insiders, these factories weren't just making legit Louis Vuitton and Hermes bags during the day. By night, they were allegedly running secret knockoff operations using the same designs, same materials, sometimes even the same workers. The result? Bootlegs so perfect they were almost impossible to spot. This wasn't just about counterfeit bags anymore. This was an inside job. And now, Louis Vuitton is going scorched earth. Word is, they're demanding massive payouts and claiming these. Manufacturers violated NDAs, leaked exclusive designs, and sabotaged their entire brand image from the inside out. But here's where the internet is losing it. People want proof, receipts, names, photos, factory footage, something, because while Louis Vuitton and Hermes are hurling lawsuits like dodgeballs, fans are asking the one question no luxury brand wants to hear. If you've got nothing to hide, why are you hiding everything? Meanwhile, brands like Shein, are out here posting video tours of their factories. They're showing workers, processes, raw materials, everything. Even Ferrari and Porsche let you peek inside the engine room. But from Louis Vuitton, Hermes, crickets. Not a single behind-the-scenes clip. No transparency, just silence. And, as one fan put it, this isn't a $300K sports car, it's leather. Why all the secrecy? Another user hit even harder. They can sue whoever they want, but the damage is already done. The evidence is everywhere. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room, China. Right now, Chinese manufacturers are clapping back, hard. They're dropping full vendor lists, factory addresses, even tutorials on how to buy direct. They're calling out the hypocrisy and exposing just how dependent Western luxury brands really are, because whether they like it or not, China runs the global manufacturing game. They're not just part of the system, they are the system. So when Louis Vuitton and Hermes try to play dumb, pretend they don't know where their bags come from, that denial just makes them look guilty. They could have gone with honesty, transparency, a smarter, softer response. Instead, they picked lawsuits. They picked silence. And now, they've picked a fight they might not win. Because this isn't just about bags anymore. This is about trust, power, and the dark side of luxury no one was supposed to see. What started as whispers about knockoffs is now a full-on fashion scandal shaking the global industry. And the wildest part? It's not over. Tensions between China and the US are escalating. Tariffs are hitting harder, and both sides are refusing to back down. So the question is, with lawsuits flying, fans losing faith, and receipts being leaked every day, can Louis Vuitton survive this? Or is this the moment the luxury empire finally cracks? Let us know. Has the illusion been shattered? Or are you still buying what they're selling?
A statement has been released to the press, seemingly from a source close to Louis Vuitton. In their statement, the source close to the brand said, Louis Vuitton want everyone to know that what these people are saying is completely false and untrue, and they want everyone to understand that every item LV releases is made under meticulously high.
They said he'd reign until 85, but now, Bernard Arnault, the king of luxury himself, might be stepping down. And not just stepping down, running. For decades, he's been the mastermind behind Louis Vuitton, the richest man in fashion, untouchable, unshakable, unmatched. But something's changed, and it's happening fast. At 76, Bernard had a clear plan, hold power for another decade. But the streets are whispering he might be packing it in way earlier than expected. And let's be real, this isn't about age. It's about the pressure, the fire, the chaos that's coming from every direction. Louis Vuitton isn't just taking hits, they're bleeding. Trade war tariffs are slicing through profits. TikTok is exploding with exposés. And those viral receipts? The ones showing made in France bags actually getting mass-produced in Chinese factories? That scandal alone could sink a billion-dollar brand because it's not just a price tag anymore, it's trust. And right now, that trust is snapping like a cheap zipper on a fake duffel bag. First, Hermès was in the hot seat. Now, Louis Vuitton's getting dragged through digital hell, post by post, view by view. And Bernard, he sees what's coming, the collapse, the downfall, and maybe, just maybe, he wants out before it all hits rock bottom. But here's where it gets even darker. This isn't just a leadership crisis. It's a money meltdown. In a single morning, Bernard Arnault lost over 9 billion gone. Vanished. Evaporated into thin air. Why? Because LVMH's stock crashed. A brutal 7% nosedive after a disastrous first quarter. This wasn't just a dip, it was a free fall. The luxury game isn't just cracking, it's collapsing. And the internet? Oh, it noticed. Memes started flying. Guess that $3,000 handbag didn't come with a parachute. Luxury brand? More like luxury scam. The fans are turning, the streets are talking, and no one's buying the fantasy anymore. Every influencer flaunting their LV bag is getting side-eyed. Every post about craftsmanship is met with receipts of Chinese labor. The illusion is breaking, and the silence from Louis Vuitton, deafening. No statements, no accountability, just lawsuits and spin. It's almost like they've been hiding this for years. So now Bernard stands at the edge, facing a brand in crisis, billions slipping through his fingers, and a public that's finally waking up. He once said he'd retire on his terms. But what if the terms changed? What if this isn't a peaceful exit, but an escape plan? Because if even he doesn't believe in the future of luxury, why should we? And with the whole industry teetering, is this the beginning of the end? Or will Louis Vuitton pull off a last-minute miracle? Let us know in the comments. Has luxury lost its shine? Or are we just starting to see the truth?